Is it him? Is it Sebastian? We have breaking news and an update regarding the facial surveillance triggering an alert that is monitoring Sebastian Rogers identifiers and biometrics. That is right. Unconfirmed at this point, but not debunked. Is it Sebastian? Has Sebastian been located? Let's read the breaking news. It is coming today from At Night Creative Intelligence about 1 hour ago, August 26, 2025, for immediate release. And it is discussing Sebastian Rogers, Hendersonville, Tennessee. As you know, we have discussed that they have been putting out, beginning facial surveillance to help find Sebastian, find those responsible for Sebastian, compare them to databases, public databases, measurements, measuring facial structures, identifiers, biometrics, and I'm going to explain what biometrics are. And they have had an alert ping regarding Sebastian Rogers' biometrics and identifiers. They think they have a match. Sebastian is from Hendersonville, Tennessee. He was reported missing a year and a half ago today, this August 26, 2025, 18 months. Sumner County Sheriff's Office has been very silent. Their last press conference was April 2nd of 2024. And the father of Sebastian, Seth Rogers, is the parent out looking for him, and he hired a team to help him. This team, At Night Creative Intelligence, Dog the Bounty Hunter, One World, have started facial surveillancing, and they have a hit. Not confirmed yet, but they shared it with us. Sebastian's from Middle Tennessee, about 18 miles from Nashville, a town that is normally quite quiet, population 64,000. However, something happened that took Sebastian Rogers when he was 15 years old away from his home on February 25th, 2024. He was not a runaway as it was reported, because law enforcement has told the father, Seth Rogers, that there is no proof Sebastian left the house. So why is he not there? Well, that's what we're trying to get answers to. So his father hired a team, and they have done facial surveillancing starting and monitoring even Sebastian. We've talked about them monitoring people involved in some of the images or maybe audios, etc. We haven't discussed the fact that they were monitoring biometrics and facial identifiers for Sebastian. And they have now announced that they have a hit. It is not confirmed, but it is not yet debunked. So let's go ahead and read that. Sebastian is now 16, by the way. This is his image. If you do see Sebastian, call 911. Please immediately get someone to the area where you see Sebastian. He is one of FBI's most wanted, and this gives me hope today. We always have hope, because I, as a parent, no one could convince me my child weren't still with us unless they proved it to me. So let's go ahead and get right to the X update so I can read it to you. Here we go. We'll discuss the biometrics meaning and all of that after I read this to you. So this is At Night Creative Intelligence. And by the way, thank you for being here. This is Crime Time Buzz. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am using posts and immediate release documents that are out there in the public on X. However, I will be adding at times my opinions, theories, and speculations, not to be taken as fact. No one is being accused. We are just speculating, theorizing regarding the very mysterious disappearance and vanishing of Sebastian Rogers, because I believe something happened to Sebastian, and then there was the cover-up that I call the vanishing. So this is for immediate release, Fort Worth, Texas, August 26, 2025. At night pursues overseas lead in the disappearance of Sebastian Waindrake Rogers. So now you know that we are overseas. At night, intelligence agency operating under One World Society Corp. Confirms it is pursuing a credible lead. So this is credible until deemed such until formally debunked. So it's credible until debunked formally. In the ongoing disappearance of Sebastian Waindrake Rogers, missing from Hendersonville, Tennessee since February 25th, 2024. On or about August 23rd, 2025, confidential technology channels monitoring Sebastian's biometric and facial identifiers triggered an alert. This ping initiated a rapid escalation protocol. Since then, At Night has remained in constant contact with authorities overseas, engaged with the U.S. Embassy in the relevant region, and liaised with the International Center for Missing and Exploited Children and the United Nations Human Trafficking Desks under the Palermo Protocol. And I can explain to you what the Palermo Protocol is as well after I read the update. Preliminary information indicates that an individual resembling Sebastian's description may have been detained amid unrest abroad. And I just got chills reading that. It's just chilling. Let me say it again. Preliminary information indicates that an individual resembling Sebastian's description may have been detained amid unrest abroad. This identification remains unconfirmed. At Night stresses that no official verification, biometric, DNA, or otherwise has yet been provided. So they are still following this lead. So that's why the question is it Sebastian, right? So this is, my friends, they have had a ping. It is overseas. We do not know the region. We do know the embassies involved, the U.S. Embassy and the International Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and the Palermo Protocol. Now, they mentioned the United Nations also, their human trafficking desks. So just think about the people who are involved around him, possibly during the night, all of that. And if indeed Sebastian, does turn out to be Sebastian, then it sure looks like the people in his circle and who were around him that night, allegedly in the middle of the night, whoever took him, are involved in a teeing ring, in my opinion. Preliminary information. So we read that. Okay, Sebastian's case is the highest profile missing child case in the United States. Whenever a credible lead surfaces, we act decisively and transparently. This lead is not confirmed, but until it is debunked, we owe it to Sebastian, his family, and the public to pursue it, said Cynthia Lee, One World's global ownership liaison. We are coordinating with the appropriate U.S. and international channels while respecting jurisdiction. We ask the media and public to be patient, to avoid speculation, and to keep the focus on locating Sebastian. I'm going to say to you right now, I have so much hope. I know it's a tragedy that someone would do this to him, but so much hope that this might be him until I'm told differently. We are going to keep the focus on locating Sebastian while we're waiting to hear. At Night, we'll release an update if the lead is formally debunked, or alternatively, if embassy officials and local authorities are able to make direct contact with the individual and confirm his identity. Wow. Sebastian Rogers disappeared from Hendersonville, Tennessee at age 15. He is now 16. His case has galvanized national attention with federal, state, private agencies searching across the United States and internationally. Remain extremely vigilant at airports, bus terminals, border crossings, ferries, tourist entry points. If you see anything, you may call or text immediately. We urge you to dial 911 if Sebastian is seen, or contact 1-800-FBI or 1-800-THE-LOST. Call or text 24/7, 844-922-3236, or email mostwanted@manhunts.one. This is Sebastian right here. So let's go ahead and talk about what this means for us, right? It gives us hope. I want to talk about what they're doing when they're surveilling. We don't know the region. We don't know if it's Sebastian. I get concerned when it says he's there in unrest, meaning there's conflict, there's issues, let me read that exact term to you. It indicates that an individual resembling Sebastian's description may have been detained amid unrest abroad. So conflict, problems, maybe not positive, and that's concerning. And it is unconfirmed with no official verification yet, but that is what they are working on. So through the face that they've got face detection and face analysis, where they're measuring the features, the distance between eyes, the width of the nose, the jawline, the shape of the cheekbones, the lips, and they put it into a mathematical representation, which creates a facial signature. So something pinged either on Sebastian's facial signature or his biometrics. It's also called a facial template, or his biometrics. Excuse this screen. It's mainly for me to give you information. And the biometrics refers to measurable physical characteristics or unique behavioral traits of a person used to verify their identity through automated recognition systems. And those are the databases that they've mentioned. Excuse me. These characteristics, like fingerprints, facial patterns, voice, are unique and more difficult to lose or steal than passwords, making them reliable for identification and access control in various applications, from unlocking phones to border control. There are two types of biometrics, and there's physiological and behavioral. The physiological, they look at the unique physical human traits such as fingerprints, facial patterns, the iris, the colors of the eyes. You know how sometimes, like Madeline McCann has a little, I think it's a gold fleck in one of her eyes, one of her irises. That is definitely an identifying feature for Maddie McCann. They also look at the physiological, also looks at hand geometry, so probably size, shape of fingers, length, etc. And then the behavioral biometrics would look at voice patterns, gait, meaning the way someone walks. So based on person's unique behaviors rather than their unique physical traits. So either some of this pinged, sent off an alert when it was monitoring for Sebastian's biometrics or Sebastian's facial identifiers. Okay. And they definitely use biometrics to confirm a person's identity, either through authentication, verifying that you are who you claim to be, or identification, determining who a person is from a known group of individuals. Common applications, they use it also for unlocking phones, devices, tablets, laptops, using fingerprint or face recognition, security systems, border control, vetting travelers, and facilitating legitimate trade at the borders. Here's the advantages of using biometrics. And it's interesting. I'd love to see law enforcement use this more, right? The uniqueness, the advantages is the uniqueness. Biometric traits are unique to each individual, right? So if you get a trigger or a ping, it doesn't mean 100 that it is that person, but it's definitely like the update said you owe it to Sebastian to check into it, his family, and the investigation. I hope Sumner County's involved in checking this out. Another advantage of biometrics is convenience. They're inherent to a person and cannot be easily lost, forgotten, or stolen, like passwords. So this gives me so much hope. I hope it gives you hope. I hope it reminds you Sebastian's still out there. He's not home. And his father, Seth Rogers, is still looking, and so is the team. And this leaves me with questions. Of course, question number one, is it Sebastian? If it isn't Sebastian, who is this child who's at unrest in a foreign nation? When will we know? How long will the process take? They've asked us to have patience. We're going to keep patience and hope. And I'm praying. Is he so far away? Perhaps it makes sense of the statement, where he is, he's not coming back from. Remember that statement that a TBI agent made? In the first couple of days, where he is not coming back from. Is he so far away? They say overseas, that maybe that's what that statement meant. And my goodness, if a child's been trafficked that far away, you don't just say he's not coming back. So allegedly, in my opinion, the person that person that said that, if this is Sebastian, has a lot of explaining to do. Because if this is Sebastian, you do realize that that most likely means Sebastian was teed. And I don't know how they got into the home, because it was locked at night and unlocked in the morning, unless individuals in Sebastian's circle maybe left doors on. I have no idea. But people have explaining to do about certain situations, like a 3 a.m. vehicle in the middle of the night caught on footage, but yet never asked for the public to help look for the vehicle, never included that description of the vehicle on the Amber Alert when it was being viewed first day in the command post. Why wouldn't you want the public helping you find a vehicle when there's a missing child? A vehicle or two. Lots of questions. So why would Sumner County Sheriff's Office not be pursuing such criminal trash with vigor and perseverance to get them out of their community? I find that interesting. If this turns out to be H-teen, etc., or anything for that matter, why is Sumner County Sheriff's Office choosing not to pursue criminal trash that harms children with vigor and perseverance? And those are my questions for right now. And I hope you will hit that notification bell, because this is a breaking news and a developing story, because we are waiting to hear if indeed that triggered alert that pinged overseas, monitoring Sebastian Rogers' facial identities and his biometrics, if it's him. I'm praying it is, and we bring him home. It is 18 months ago today that Sebastian Rogers was reported missing by his mother, who was in supervision alone with him, locked inside the home at night and locked inside the home in the morning. Thank you so much for being here. Again, hit that notification bell. This is a developing story, and I know many of you have been following this for 18 months, and we want to bring Sebastian home. Until next time, thank you so much for being here, and keep keeping on.